If we're going live, I've got to have my coffee.
And we are
Ooh.
live.
Hello. Liam. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Welcome to the studio. How's it going? I hope this finds you well. Welcome back to Livestream. I think we're up to number 8 now. Can you believe it? Number 8. We've been hanging out for a little while. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I certainly am. Now look, you've had a bit of a break from hearing me talk about Big Red, so I thought it's time to bring it back and see how far we could get today and maybe paint 3 or 4 little trees, and we'll see what we can do. But anyway, a little bit, if you weren't here, if you're new to Patreon, and again, welcome. If you are new, welcome old and new patrons here. You might remember from the first couple of live streams that we were doing this commission, which is for a client that lives in London. So this is an Australian subject. It's heading back over to London when it's done. But this has been hanging around in the studio for a long time. So you might have even seen it in the background of some of those YouTube videos and might have even wondered, hey, Andrew, what's up with that? When are you going to finish that dang painting? Well, I'm in the home stretch now, and I keep saying, and I'm reluctant to say it now. I'm not even going to say when I'm going to be finished. I don't know when I'm going to be finished, but I keep saying, oh, this Friday, this week, I don't know. I can't even measure it. But the minute I start to get down to those final little details, like painting a painting this big with this freaking thing. I don't know. Can you see that? Liam, that's the smallest brush ever. 0. Liam's here on the what do we call that? On the decks?
On the decks? I'm on the decks. I'm on the decks.
So Liam's helping me here, my trusty sidekick here, helping me with your questions. Liam, are you going to show them your face today?
Are we? They might get a little treat at the end. They might get a treat at the end. We'll keep them guessing.
A treat at the end.
A treat.
Yeah. Wait
we'll
till the
that.
end. Get your buckets ready. So, no, dude, that was horrible. I'm sorry. Where was I going with all that? We're gonna talk. We're gonna have some questions. We're gonna have some back and forth.
Yes.
We got a load of questions to come through.
We do. We have quite a few.
More than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So huge list of questions there, and we're gonna be taking your questions live. So they need to go to. Okay. Now I don't even know how this works, right? I don't like. They need to go to YouTube.
It's on the YouTube. Yeah, I think most people have got it down now. They do it in the YouTube stream comments.
The YouTube
not on
stream.
Patreon.
Okay.
I won't see your questions on Patreon anymore.
Can you see people in the live chat right now?
Yes.
Cool. Can people hear us okay? Can we just get a confirmation that people can hear?
Yeah, can you hear us? We're at 48 viewers. So.
And they're happy. Everyone's happy?
Yeah, well, we've got a bit of delay, but yeah, we'll hear back in a second.
Cool. Awesome. So I'll assume everyone can hear me. So while we're going, okay, what we're going to do is do a little bit of, I got somebody trying to get in the front door. No, is it just the wind? No,
it's just pretty windy outside.
Okay. We're going to be doing a bit of detail. I am also gearing up. People want to talk about trees, and I did mention in the post that we're going to be painting some trees here, but that tree tutorial is coming. I think Angela wanted to know about trees, and Kathy wanted to know about trees. But there's a couple there. Lots of questions about trees. So I'll talk a little bit about my approach to trees, but we're not going to get much out of trees this big. That's got to be like maybe 4 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm going to jump over to the other camera and show you what we're going to be working on and what we're going to be talking about. So I'll jump over to this one. Liam.
Yep. Everyone's saying sounds good.
Sounds good. Cool, yep. Cool. I'm going to sneak in behind here without knocking anything over. Okay, here we go. Bam. Okay, so obviously I've got the rig, everything's set up there. We've got the palette set up. I'll talk to you about that in a second. And so I've been gradually going around here, working on this bit. That's where we started when we were doing all the live stream in the beginning. And then gradually just started crawling along. Now, since you've seen this last, I started detailing up in here, all in those distant hills and mountains, kind of getting it closed up, trying to work on that detail way out there. Like, well, what we could consider detail for a painting like this anyway. I still want it to be painterly, if you can believe that. And then we ended up going right into the distance here and detailing some of those trees. So there's a bit of a process to this. We're going to talk about that today. So today, what we're going to be doing is this plateau over here on this side. And I've got a few trees that I'm working on here with a series of glazes. So let's kick down the shutter speed there. You can see what I'm working on there. So I'm going along and just working on the twisting of the branches and the trunks and then getting that light on there, working on the shadows. And then gradually you can see how it's in sunlight here. And then there's a big cloud that's gone overhead. And so we've got in the distance, that's now in shade. So you can see a little bit more of that gradual transition of light here from what's in the foreground here to as it goes back in the distance. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're gonna kind of start off at about that kind of distance. And I think what I might do is just start working on a couple of these trees. What do you reckon? And then we'll move. So people don't get too sick of the same view again and again and again.
Yeah.
But I was watching Andrew paint, watching his live stream. He just painted one tree. It was boring. I won't be here anymore. Anyway.
These streams are never boring.
They're never boring. There's always something that happens. Okay, let's go over to the palette, Liam. Yep. We'll have a quick chat here about what's going on. Now, if you don't remember from last time, I've got a whole bunch of new colors here that I'm playing with that I do normally use as I finish up one of these big red Australian scenes. And that's just because I want to have as much variety with the red as possible, right? So we got quinacridone burnt orange. We've got transparent red oxide, which is that one. Transparent yellow oxide, of course. We've got nickel azo red gold. And that one there, which I forget, I think that's a Williamsburg tube there that I'm playing with. And then my usual Blue Ridge oils, of course. We've got some chromium green oxide, which we're going to use in some of the highlights of those trees. And I've got my trusty white combination here. So I got my 50-50 Kremnitz to titanium white. I've got titanium white and I've got Kremnitz white. And I use all of those for their different opacities, as you may know. Oh, hey, quick announcement. Can I make a quick announcement, Liam, before we get started? Okay. So I'm just going to pan the camera. I don't even think you'll be able to see it really, but we'll do something here. Hang on, shift that light. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, over here, that there was a sitting that happened in the studio yesterday, painted from life. And this is Stephanie. She was the girl with the roses, if you remember that portrait tutorial. So the portraits is well underway. That's my second sitting now. So I had Wayne back in the studio. And if you remember Wayne was at Portrait alla Primo tutorial. He's now the subject of yet another painting. And we're doing some more detail. So people have been asking about the portraits. So that's coming. And again, working on those tree portraits. Tutorials. Yeah, come on, man. Can't even talk today. So lots of tutorials coming your way. So I think the next portrait, no, I know, that's actually going to be a full production that's going to be available through the website, not a Patreon exclusive, but there's going to be heaps more stuff coming here on Patreon as well. But stay tuned for that. Cool. Anything else I've got to announce before we get stuck in? We just get on to the first question?
I think we just get on to the first question.
We should get on with it, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Just stop talking.
Just stop talking.
Stop talking. Get on with it.
I hear for your paint, not your voice.
Aw. Okay, what's the first question, bro?
We got one here from Denise. Andrew, can you mention some of the size brushes you're using, which you've kind of already touched on anyway?
Yeah, so hey Denise, why don't I talk about what I'm doing as I'm going through this live stream. And most tutorials, I'm trying to do a better job talking about the brushes that I'm using. But here we've got a synthetic Rosemary & Co. Evergreen Filbert. Now the reason I'm using this one is because I got to get back. Liam, actually, I might get your help adjusting that camera. The reason I'm using this one is because it's helping me sneak in here and get some of these shadows. So first thing I'm going to do is just apply a few shadows here and there around these Spinifex bushes, because we got this light that's coming in from the top right, slightly forward, kind of hitting that landscape like this, hence those shadows on the trees. So there's a little bit of a lean there to it as well, that going in contour with the shape of the plateau here. But I figured on the back side of these little individual bushes of Spinifex, I could add some more dimension by kicking in there a little shadow. Now this is a glaze. This is made up using the quinacridone magenta, a bit of ultramarine blue, bit of burnt umber, bit of transparent yellow oxide as well. And I'm mixing in there the slightest amount of liquid fine detail. It's a very transparent glaze. You can see right through that. But as soon as I add it to the painting, right, it just kicks it just a notch and gives a beautiful richness and warmth given by that transparent yellow oxide. But it just kicks in there a really lovely shadow. I'm digging it. I don't know, is that coming through on the camera, Liam?
It is, but yeah.
Cool. Awesome. I might start detailing that tree. I was doing this morning and I just figured, oh, look, we'll keep going with the glaze, but I think folks might want to see me paint one of these trees or go ahead and finish it up anyway. So, yeah, so Denise, I will talk about that as I go, definitely. Cool. What's our next question, dude?
Another one here from Megan. Having trouble with getting really believable shadows. Really appreciate if you touched on it. Thanks so much and have an awesome stream.
Shadows, shadows, shadows. Believable shadows comes down to believable light, and having a believable sense of light has to do with creating believable shadows. Two of them go together. They're equal sides to that equation. So we need to think about our lighting dynamic constantly. Now, I'm going to mix up just a little bit of light here for the front of this tree. What I've been working on with this plateau in particular is getting that transition and that gradation from the highlight into that shadow there. And then you have to work on those relationships. So there are relationships here within the tone, you know, certainly within the sharpness and the definition. What the heck was that? Did you hear that? I'm pretty sure one of those taxidermy birds came back to life. We're very jumpy. So let's add a little bit of light to the front of this tree. I'm going to use a bit of Naples yellow here. Not something. I don't think Eric Silver is happy with me using his Naples yellow because I think he discontinued it, and I'm a bit bummed out that he did that because it's so good, dude. It's so good. So I'm using it. Whatever. So convincing shadows. So I've started adding in those shadows, and gradually you'll see me do this with a lot of landscapes. Everything starts off very muted, and then the highlights get more and more intense, and then the shadows become more and more defined. And I'm building up texture by, you know, creating some nice textured brushwork with some of this liquid impasto, and then going back over the top and just brushing over the top of some of those marks with some lighter marks or darker marks. But you create so much relief and texture. But I'm just essentially dusting the front. And this is a really frayed dagger brush, Tish Dagger 1/8 of an inch. And
stream's freezing again for everyone.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Oh no! Is it an internet thing?
I don't know. It hasn't come up for anything like that for me.
So are people still live in the chat?
Yeah, they're just telling me it's starting to buffer.
Okay. Well, you know what? In the replay, I didn't actually really notice it last time. I didn't see a single point where it buffered.
Okay.
So I think we just keep rolling.
Okay.
I think
there is something saying the computer needs updated, so that might be it.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Dang you, Apple.
I'm looking through now to see if there's anything I can change.
All right. It's always a technical something, isn't it, dude?
Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, we're getting used to it now that it will, and we're doing it live. It's live, you know? It's going to happen. Can you see this tree? Is that working? Is that coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Is it focused?
No, I'll give it a focus. It's all right.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, if maybe I'll just continue to talk about that light and shade, but essentially I was getting out that really delicate glaze with the ultramarine blue and that quinacridone magenta before, and just adding those shadows in there. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with this area because I want those shadows to be relatively soft because they're cast by these, you know, delicate, soft, spindly little trees. But yeah, essentially it's something you build into. You keep going, just slowly, gradually, bit by bit. I never try and get like my shadows and my lighting right, like off the first sitting, right off the bat. It doesn't seem to work that way for me. I work into that image and I continue to add to it and layer and layer and layer. And then gradually it's like carving away at the surface. And you end up coming up with something really three-dimensional that's so rich with detail and it's so layered. I just find it's a really fun way to paint. Takes a little patience though to build you know.
Could everyone just let us know if the
Yeah.
stream's fixed now or not, or if he's just still buffering?
Yeah, give us a shout.
Just give us a shout when it's all fixed, because we're not sure. Everything seems fine on our end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's always something.
Always something, dude, isn't it? Murphy's Law. What is Murphy's Law? Is it if it can go wrong, it will go wrong? Is that it?
I've heard of it, but I'm not too sure.
Or is it just like that something always happens?
Something pretty much, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's better now.
Better now. Cool. Just when you get onto the tree that I'm painting, he's like, oh, now chase me. I'm over on this tree now. I think I'm going to work on these trees here, Liam. How about that? Okay, now if I'm over here, am I going to get in your way?
What trees are you working on?
These three. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
We're good to go? Sweet. I'll take some time because I want to get the light down in that one. Cool, man. Awesome. I don't know why, it just popped into my brain, but somebody had a question about copyright.
Yes. Just let me find that for you.
I remember, yeah, that's something that I've been thinking about.
Yeah. Belinda had one here for you about copyright. So
Yeah, let's have it.
anyone would be out of their mind to even attempt to copy Big Red painting, but I want to ask this question anyway. Do you ever copyright any of your work? How expensive is it if you wanted to go through this procedure? And what course of action would you take if someone did infringe on the copyright?
Wow. Okay. So I think I don't know. Okay. So I'm just the caveat here is I don't know about this subject, but I think, and maybe if somebody in the comment section in the live chat, or if you're watching the replay and you want to put it in the comments below the Patreon post, that would be cool too. But I think, as far as I know, an artist's signature is their stamp of copyright. That's like an official seal of the fact that they created this thing and it is their intellectual property, I think. And so I don't think you have to go through a process of getting paperwork, so to speak, right? I don't think you do. I think you just gotta, like, yeah, I don't know. What do you, Liam, did you learn about this in film school, dude? Did they like?
Different art.
Is it?
I didn't learn about just copyright in general. Was like, if I can remember, just don't infringe copyright.
Just don't.
If it's copyrighted, don't use it. That was kind of.
So if you're using stuff like in a film, I do know, like if we're putting together a video for YouTube, I can't just chuck in.
You can't just chuck in random brands. You have to get permission.
Yeah,
you usually pay.
I can't put in like a David Bowie song.
Yeah, you'd have to pay.
You have
like
to pay
for
royalty.
music rights, like if we're going music rights in films and stuff, you have to pay the artist or the production company a certain amount of money to use that.
Yeah.
Because if it's infringement of copyright when you don't have permission.
Right. You know, so I think it's very similar with art, right? Like if you create something, people have got to get your permission as the creator to use your stuff. So if somebody wants to copy Big Red, I don't think I'd stop them. I think I'd just recommend a good psychiatrist. I don't think I would. I don't think I'd stand in their way, dude. You know. I think we just. I mean, it's not something I'm concerned with. Let's put it that way. I'm not concerned with people copying me. If people want to learn and copy my work, I mean, I put it out there as a tutorial. If you want to paint what I'm painting, you have my permission. The only thing that I think gets into a messy gray area, and there have been a few people that do this, but to me, I just think it's a bit of a no-brainer. It makes sense to me, but maybe some people need it spelled out for them. I wouldn't turn around and then sell that as your work. I think most people understand that it is an educational exercise as a paint-along, but to turn around and submit that work to a gallery or like sell it, yeah, you'd be surprised. There's been a few people that have done that. And I just think that's a bit, I don't know. I wouldn't do that. I think at the end of the day, it's worse for the person doing it. It's not that it's any skin off my back. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but and not so much. But what's worse is I think about the embarrassment of somebody going, hang on, isn't that a painting that you just got from there? Because a lot of these paintings have been seen a few times on YouTube now, so and various places. But on that, on the copyright thing as well, like the transfer of rights to an image, that was something else that somebody was wondering about. And I don't think it was Patreon related. I think this is something I came through Instagram, but it kind of relates. Is to, you know, if you paint something and you're using it for educational purposes, can you then turn around and sell your painting? Like, or if you were commissioned to do something like I'm doing now, and we're totally live streaming it right now and using it for educational purposes, I think as the artist, you always maintain and retain your copyright. I've just realized I've totally gone off frame. I'll do this to you. Okay, I'm just going to stick with those 3 trees, Liam. I'm sorry, bro. So
Makes my
can't
life
work
a lot
under
easier.
these conditions. You just had to stay inside the lines, Andrew. I could never color inside the lines, bro.
No.
Never.
Be too boring if you did.
Oh, life's too short to color inside the lines.
Exactly.
We're going to mix up a little trunk color here. We're going to use a little yellow ochre, a bit of creminous white. There's a bit of titanium white there, a little bit of burnt umber. So I'm staying well away from the top of the tonal range. So I'll finish up that thing about copyright. I don't know. That's pretty much it. And I think that as long as you sign your name to something and it's your original creation, I think you've got the copyright in the bag. I don't think, until I stand corrected, I'm pretty sure this is the way it works. I don't think you have to jump through any hoops to ensure that your intellectual property or your painting or your work of art is protected. I think you've got it in the bag. You're all right. So don't worry about it. Belinda, was it? It was Belinda that asked that. Yeah. Yeah. So again, maybe if we have somebody that's got a little bit of experience in the legal department, maybe they could help us with that question.
We had a few people saying pretty much just anything you create is kind of automatically copyrighted pretty much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I understood. Yeah, cool. Cool.
Being ethical.
Awesome, dude. Do we have a live question we can take?
Maybe. I think I saw one somewhere. All right, here we go. We got one from Swathi.
Hey, Swathi.
I want to paint a huge monolith mountain.
Monolithic?
It's monolith.
Monolith? Okay, yeah.
Mountain near my home with all the drama of light and shade on the cuts, but the problem is sunrise rises behind it and it doesn't expose the parts. Can you suggest a solution?
Do you have to, Swathi, do you have to paint it at sunrise? Could you paint it at sunset or a different time of day? You know, I think in a landscape, light's everything. And sometimes you get to your landscape when you're photographing it and the light is lining up just right and it works and it's great and, you know, everything's laid out for you. And you get the reference. And I don't know what it is about that. I don't know if other people have this issue, but sometimes when it's all spelled out, it's almost like the challenge is gone. I like getting to a landscape that is either backlit or it's on an overcast day and it's just not lit at all. And then that way you can invent your own lighting dynamic. You know what I mean? You could just work out where you want that light coming from. And then you can have some fun with it. You can build some props, you can get some models, you can try and recreate a situation in the studio and then shine lights on objects. I know it sounds like I'm talking like completely left field here, like just out of the blue. But there's a painting I'm working on at the moment, right? And actually, in point of fact, it was a live stream subject from last week. Most of those photographs that I was working from were overcast or a little bit hazy, so I didn't get a strong lighting dynamic. And that was especially true for the rocks in the foreground. So I went and collected a bunch of rocks and then shone the desk lamp on them and then superimposed that reference into my other references and used that for my detailed drawing. So I'm a big fan of doing that sort of thing. So sometimes having a less than ideal lighting situation can help you come up with a creative solution. You all right, Liam? I'm good. You got the COVID, bro? Oh, come on, bro. You all right? I'm good. Liam's slowly dying over there. You muted the mic before you started. Don't die on me. I need you. Here we go. So I sometimes think a less than ideal frickin' lighting situation helps summon the creative genius in you to shine forth and come up with an interesting solution. So yeah, that's what I would do. And so yeah, to secure what the lighting dynamic's doing, why don't you make a couple of studies, make a couple of drawings, really work it out beforehand on paper. I'm gonna lose Liam here. Are you still with me, mate? You're all right. Okay, good. Whew. Excellent. Good question, Swathi. Swathi always asks really good questions. I've noticed that. Gets me on a tangent, you know. Cool. So people having a good time in the live section. Everyone's hearing okay. Everyone's cool.
Looking good.
Got a few people here too.
Yeah, we're at 63.
All right. Hey, that's cool. Excellent. I'm just working on a little trunk right here, and I'm trying to get some variety to my grays. And then I'm going to put in there a few zinging highlights on those trunks to kind of give it that twisted look. You'd be amazed how much detail we can actually pack into a little tiny tree. This tree here can't be more than 2 centimeters high, which is nuts, you're probably going, I'm tangled already. You're probably going, well, Andrew, why are you painting it then? Why are you doing that? I'm gonna readjust this camera.
Okay.
All right. There we go. We can get a bit of a, bam. Cool. All right, can you see that a bit better?
Yep, we're good.
Awesome.
Looking good.
Oh, let's take another question, maybe a pre-asked question.
Got one here from Angela. Yay, Andrew, trees.
Cool.
What is the secret / magic you have in making trees look realistic without painting every single dang leaf?
Yeah, so I think I commented on this one on the Patreon page, but Angela, I just stay tuned for the tree tutorial, but you've kind of alluded to the solution in the asking of that question. You don't need to paint every dang leaf to make the tree look realistic. In fact, trees look more realistic if you don't do that. You got to be a bit strategic here. You got to treat masses of leaves as a mass rather than isolating them into individual tiny little marks. So, which might seem a bit contradictory with what I'm doing here with my double zero pointed round, but stay tuned. I've got in this tree tutorial that again is in production. It is being worked on. At least the paintings are. Liam, have you done anything on that? Come on, get on with it. But come on. No. Okay. No. I'm sorry. I'm being mean. Look, dude. That's coming. So we've got a few tree studies that I've been doing on plein air, and I've just got to finish off a few of those studies. But as soon as I can get that tutorial done, that's after the portraits that people have been asking about. So I think it's going to be the first one of 2021. That's going to be the first one. So we're going to do a deciduous tree, a pine tree, a stand of trees, I think, like some deciduous trees, like fall leaves, some different ones that have, interesting bark texture. I might include in there a little forest scene. But I'm also going to shift it and change it up the way I'm doing the tutorial. So rather than do like one big epic project, like what you're seeing here, it's going to be a series of small little elements and just isolate into the key features. And I have something that's a little bit easier to follow along with, so that you learn the strategy to then apply those techniques to your own landscape. So that's something that I'm looking forward to playing with, a new kind of format for the tutorials moving forward. So stay tuned for that. I hopefully. January, February 2021, but shortly after the portraits tutorial. So I think that's what I can do, dude. That's what I can do. All right, Liam. Yes. I'm enjoying these trees are called. I'll say something. You might be wondering, Andrew, this looks so hokey. What are you doing these trees for? Like, why? You're painting every dang tree. They're all equally spaced. They're all equidistant. I want to show you something about Carragini the Pilbara landscape, right? I'm gonna hold this up. Can you see this on the camera?
Yep.
Okay. These trees actually naturally grow like this. If you look out into the distance and have a look just at how equally spaced they are, it's like the landscape broke out in a rash. It's kind of cool, but you can also see the effect of the spin effects as well. Let's pull up another one here. Here we go. I'll use this for a bit of reference as well. So that's kind of the effect that we have happening here. So even though it looks very monotonous, and it is, that's very typical of this type of arid Australian scene. So don't blame me. That's what it looks like. All right? All right. Good talk. True story, bro. Sorry? Did it? Oh, hang on. I got it. Ha! Good, we're good. Excellent. Let's have another question, dude.
Go another pre-asked one from Walid.
Walid? Yep.
Where do you get different size and proportion masonite / plywood panels?
Is my head in the way right now?
No, you're good.
No, good. Okay, cool. Walid, I make my own, and a lot of them I make to measure. So there are a few companies out there that do it. I think Artifix is a company if you want to pre-make them. Don't quote me on that, but just a quick Google will pull that up. What you're looking for is a really good quality linen or canvas. Look at the composition of that and look for the composition of their wooden panels. But I just tend to make mine, and admittedly, I have in the past, and I continue to use it because I still, sometimes I don't spring for the best support materials. So I will use offcuts from projects that I've been working on, but knowing that, I try to prepare the board as good as I can in terms of make sure it's really well and truly primed and gessoed and sealed. So I've been going back and forth with, oh dang, I'm sorry if I've got your name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Patricia's. Patricia's been messaging me back and forth about the masonite panels, and I am going to start to move away from masonite and phase that out because apparently it breaks down over time, and the acid in that wooden panel can actually eat away at your linen. So it's not good stuff. So if I said use masonite, yeah, we're going to move away from that. But I think as long as it's sealed, you should be okay. And it's got a really healthy layer of white glue in there, but still, I like to err on the side of archival. And would Virgil Elliott be happy with that? Probably not. He's a real stickler for the archival methods. So he would recommend probably a birch panel or something, or some sort of super archival marine ply or something like that, and then have it attached with reversible conservation adhesive. But sometimes, we just don't have the ability or the means to get that stuff. But when I can, I do. But otherwise, I just make them myself, Walid. But yeah. So you can hear I'm kind of in two minds. I use up some of the material, but when I can, I go for the archival stuff. But yeah, I make them myself. I don't tend to buy supports or stretchers. I bought in a whole load of stretcher bars. There's stretcher bars all over the studio here. Is it working, dude?
Yeah, the focus just keeps shifting.
Do you want to just go to manual?
Yeah.
Shift it to manual. There we go. You got me?
Yep.
Awesome, dude. Cool. Keeps kicking around. Anyway, I'll maybe do a few more videos on canvas prep and panel prep, and I might actually, with these articles and stuff that Patricia's sent me, I'll talk about some of the findings in there, and we'll break it down. We might even get a little sciencey. There's another one. Oh, dude. Okay, Liam, have you ever heard about this? You ever heard about people burning their studios down? Not intentionally, but just from having pile of oily rags in the corner of the studio?
No, I haven't heard about that.
Or workshops or wood workshops, like craft shops and stuff? Like a carpenter's workshop?
Seen it in movies.
Yeah, most of that was started by gasoline, though.
Yeah.
And as it's exploding, Sylvester Stallone doesn't even turn to look at his handiwork. He just walks away.
He does.
Yeah, at night.
When really he would be going deaf.
Yeah. No. But okay, so apparently, this is something I want to do in a video. Apparently, linseed oil soaked rags will reach a natural flash point and will spontaneously combust without any spark or flame or anything. They will blow up and combust on their own. Did you know that? We're going to film it. We're actually going to do it out the back of the gallery here with proper protective equipment on and fire extinguishers at the ready. But there's a big gravel parking lot next to the gallery here, so don't worry. We're not going to hurt ourselves. Are you covered? Well, you got insurance, William?
Not life insurance, no.
Oh, well, you can't be there.
I'm too young for life insurance.
No, it should be fine, dude. We'll do it in like a metal can or something. But I wanted to do this because there was an artist in, and I had heaps of people commenting on the video. I can't even remember which one it was. But there was an artist in Western Australia that actually burned his studio down with like so many paintings and frames, and he was uninsured as well. And he just, it was all started from a pile of oily rags in the corner.
Oof.
Yeah, true story.
Rough.
So what I'm doing here is, again, creating some dimension and depth in these tiny little trees. My client told me, I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous live stream, but he said, Andrew, I want detail. I'm like, do you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Right, so hence the 00 pointed round. But he wanted to be able to look in here and see trees and individual little aspects of this landscape that are typical of the Pilbara. And so I want him to be able to look in and he's got kids as well. I want the kids to be able to look in and go, oh, I can see that, and it kind of fleshes out and tells a story. But then when you look at it from a distance, it totally makes sense as well. So I'm trying to strike that balance. I'm probably going overboard. I feel like I'm going overboard. I probably am. Oh, dude, let's. I'm feeling like a live question.
Yeah, I was just going for a live question too from Mulaney.
Hey, Mulaney.
How do you decide on how much detail?
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, hey, good question. I don't know. I think you get to a point where you naturally just kind of figure it out, but you only figure it out. You know what, Liam? I think I'm going to get over. I do want to do those, but I think before I get over on the edge, let's do these trees here. Okay. So that about the size of a saucer, not a flying saucer. What tree would be there? Like right here. All those trees? Yeah. Like so, just that size right there. You got me? Gotcha. Cool, man. Awesome. Actually, that's one thing I should hide a UFO in here, eh? You'd just be like a flying, like a silver flying saucer, just like parked here amongst the trees. I've often thought about hiding things in landscapes. That would be so cool. Dude, I want to hear some suggestions from people that what do they think I should hide? What would be a cool thing to hide in this landscape?
I would like to see that in the chat then. What should Andrew hide in his painting?
Like maybe. I know it's a bit morbid, but maybe like a chalk line on like one of the ledges from somebody that had fallen off. No, that's terrible. Don't say that.
That's horrible.
That's horrible. But just something. Or somebody, a little abseiler. Or...
That'd be cool.
I like that though, flying saucer. That'd
just
be
a little Easter egg. A little Easter egg in the painting.
And then, like, don't tell anyone it's there, and then just years later say, by the way. Psst. Cool. What was I talking about?
Detail.
Yeah, how do you know? I think you only know how much detail to add by, like, you only know where the line is once you've crossed it. If you listen to the live stream, you'll know how often I cross that line. Um, so, but I'm going for a balance that it's not something I can really enunciate. It's only something I can kind of feel my way along. I think, looking back in the past, the people that got it right were the 19th century painters. Those are my favorite painters of all time, especially the Victorians, man. And the Russians, they had it going on too. But, you look, and speaking of Russians, like you look at somebody like Ivan Ivanovich Shishkin, and he had this perfect balance between painterly and hyper-realistic detail, like fine detail. I've seen a couple of his originals in an exhibition back in 2005, but I'll never forget the quality of the surface that he was able to create. So you go right up to the painting and it just dissolves in front of your eyes. It just falls apart. There's nothing holding it together. And then you step back and you are in that place. And I don't mean like in a wishy-washy, artsy-fartsy, airy-fairy way. You feel like you are literally standing there experiencing the scene. And the scale helps, but it was just the way he was able to make marks. It was just, exquisite work. So that's kind of the thing I'm chasing. Have I ever done it? No, I don't think so, but I'm trying. That's the goal. It's kind of, you might have heard me talk about it in these terms before, but it's kind of like the way surfers will chase that perfect wave. And it's almost a spiritual quest for them in a way. I think about painting in those terms. Good fun. Good fun. Man, I sound fruity. When I talk about art, I sound so fruity. just really airy-fairy off with the, yeah.
We've had some good suggestions coming through.
Go on. Yeah, come on, let's have it.
I've had a few Alex Joneses.
Alex Jones Alex Jones hidden in the landscape, really.
A monolith, those things that have been appearing.
Dude, did you see the monolith that they found in Utah?
They found another one, didn't they? Yeah.
Well, the one in Romania was so bodgy that that was. What would Alex Jones be doing in my landscape? Let's not say Alex Jones because you get me flagged on YouTube. They'll take down my live stream.
They've even suggested a small image of yourself.
Oh yeah.
A leopard in the trees, some kangaroos.
Where's Andrew?
Gold panning equipment.
Actually, that'll work. Kangaroos.
Yeah.
I'll put a couple of roos in here. Dude, that is great. Okay. All right. I don't know if I'll do it during the live stream, but I'll put one in. Dude, that is such a good idea. Kangaroo. Yeah, definitely kangaroo.
Nice.
Who said Alex Jones? Was that Ryan Jordan, aka Bandit?
We've got Lisa said it once. Who else? Carl Cockle as well.
Oh God. Okay. Or it could have been Gaz. Gaz is onto it. Gaz knows what's going on. Gaz knows space is fake. Anyway,
God.
Dude, what's another question?
We'll go for a live question again.
Cool, bro.
We'll go.
Let's have it.
From Gaz, actually.
Oh, hey, man. Awesome.
When painting a really bright sun, what is the best color mix? Pure white or a bright yellow?
It all depends. I would go, if it's your light source, you can kind of allude to the color of that light by the colors that you put around it, Gaz. So have some yellow or golden or orangey rings around it. But if you want it to look really bright, I would actually mix the slightest amount of ultramarine blue or cobalt teal in with your white and make it cold. And that would cause the sun to look a little bit more zingy. And also use a bit of that liquid impasto or impasto medium, whichever impasto medium you've got, to create a bit of thickness there. But it's the colors that you put around it which will kind of inform the color of the sun itself, if that makes sense. But wow, interesting. I've never attempted to really paint the sun in a landscape. I tend to avoid it. You won't see me really do that. And I don't know why. I like painting the effects of the sun. Obviously, I love to fill my landscapes with light. But can you see me, if I'm detailing this tree, can you see me down here? Yeah, cool. Awesome, dude. All right. Ah, sweet. Okay, so I can move around to my heart's content. Awesome.
Wouldn't say it like that,
No?
but you can move around
Within reason.
Within reason, yes.
All right, cool. Awesome. I like it. I'm gonna hide some kangaroos in here. That's a cool suggestion.
That'll be cool, yeah.
Because that's not gonna like lose me a client.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It adds to the painting.
Yeah.
Should we go another live question?
Yeah, bro. Let's have it.
From Ed Cabral. Andrew, I just paint right on the birchwood panel surface. 3 layers of gesso sanded in between.
Yep.
Is that not okay? I feel like old masters have done this.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sure, that's all right. No problem. I just really love working on the linen surface. I love the weave. But you can totally work just directly on the birch. You know, seal it, give it that coat of gesso. The only thing, or sizing, you know, a lot of people use hide glue, like rabbit skin glue, which is a bit, you know, I don't know, depends if you're into animal rights and stuff. I don't know, some people kind of are a bit squeamish about that type of thing, but it is actually a really nice material to work on, rabbit sizing. And it's traditional. It's like one of those old school archival traditional practices. But it's granular, you cook it up in a double boiler and you paint it on hot. And it really seals up that surface. It can be used for stretching canvas as well. But yeah, I wouldn't put the oil directly on the birch panel, but Ed, sounds like you're onto it, bro. Go for it. I'm probably not going fast enough for Ed this week.
Again, too slow.
He's a good dude, our Ed. He's a good dude. Yeah, huge shout out to everybody who's posting their work on the Facebook page. If people are not aware, there is a private Facebook page just for patrons on Patreon. I will send out a group message. I'll try to remember to do that today. And again, just put out that link. But there's a few people that are having trouble accessing the page. So I just want to say quickly, if you are on Facebook and you're on Patreon, you have to give us, because some people have a different name on Patreon than they do on Facebook, and we're physically going in, and it's not automatic, you know, you're in. We check you out and make sure you're on the Patreon page. So we have to be able to find you. So you have got to click that you agree to the rules of the group. There are some rules, and they're pretty straightforward. It's a no-brainer, but there's also, you know, we need to make sure that you're actually on Patreon to be part of that group as well. So if you're watching this, then, you know, obviously. But if you've been denied, just flick us through another request to that Facebook page. But it was only because we could not find you on Patreon. So I just want to get that out the way. But loads of awesome work on there, including Ed's on that Facebook page. Brilliant stuff. I get such a kick out of looking at that Facebook page, dude.
Yeah,
really good paintings, eh?
Yeah, I've actually been looking at a few of the artists you share on your Instagram, so I've had a few look at you guys. You're also bloody amazing.
Yeah, a lot of talent out there, bro.
There is.
A lot of talent. Cool. Let's take another pre-asked question.
From Aga.
We hope we pronounce your name right.
Sorry if
we
mispronounced your name. I apologise. Hi, Andrew. Do you build up the body of trees to make them look thick and bushy? For some reason, after initial blocking stages, my trees look flat. Thank you.
Yeah, so I try to build it up as a three-dimensional form, as you've seen me doing it here, with a shadow and a highlight, and then I kind of break it up further with little shadows and little highlights, just layer by layer. But you look at here at these trees, it is literally just a blob on a stick, and then I'll go ahead and fragment it. So can you get that? Is that tree in frame, Liam? Let's zoom in. Let's do this tree. I promise I won't paint another tree. I'll just paint that tree. We are fully zoomed in. You got me on that one. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. Like, as long as you can see me doing that one. All right, sweet. And we'll take care of that. And we will detail and talk about that tree in particular. We'll start off with some shadows, eh?
Yes.
Very good. Very nice. You know, I love live stream day.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy it too.
It's pretty cool, huh?
It's becoming a lot of fun.
Pretty cool. Just sitting here talking to people, hanging out. You kind of, I don't know, like I know people are watching right now, but it's kind of weird because you don't have much of a concept that there are actual human beings on the other end of that camera.
No, it's weird.
It's kind of weird. And
very
you
weird.
kind of want to watch what you say, but at the same time, you forget.
Yeah.
I could really get myself into even more trouble than I'm already in.
Yeah. I could get us in. I have to censor my language.
Censor.
Censor.
Self-censor.
Yeah.
We'll have none of your profanity, Liam.
No, we're good. I'm good.
So what I'm doing here, so Aga, to answer that question, I started off as a lump on the end of a stick here, the tree, right? And now I'm just adding to the back and underside of that tree and adding in a few shadows. And these more or less hold a pretty thick canopy of leaves towards the top. Once I've done that, I can come back with a lighter color on the same type of brush. Again, a splayed old bristle brush, a dagger bristle brush, the Tish dagger, but of course. And we can flick in a few highlights. And now we're starting to create some dimension and some relief. Now this is even before we've got into the trunk. We might even be able to lose some areas around it. It's interesting because the leaves of these trees are very similar tonally and color speaking, you know, chromatically very close to the spinifex itself. So you kind of lose them here and there, which is neat because it softens it up a bit. Yeah. And then we'll come underneath here. And we'll start to add that trunk. And again, I want to get that twisty nature to that trunk itself. We'll start off with some dark colors this time. But again, stay tuned for that tree tutorial. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk a lot about many more techniques. You know, the way to maintain this detail and keep these thin little brush marks as well. Can you see what I'm doing here on the palette?
Yep.
I'm kind of rolling that brush along as I go. And as I do that, I pick up a little bit of a berm of paint. Now let me zoom in here and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Can I zoom in? It's not letting me zoom in. Oh, this lens, dude. Always this lens. That's where I go. No, I can't zoom in. It's actually...
I can manually zoom in.
Can you manually zoom in? I'm trying. I'm fighting with it. Okay. I'm going to be working there. So I roll out a little bit of paint and then I just go and pick it up. So I continually keep just the ends of those bristles loaded. And then I sneak in there and just roll that along and then reload again. Good fun. It's very, like, look, I'm not going to, I don't want to have to paint these trees on my own. I want you to suffer with me.
They love it.
Like, we should zoom out again just so people could see how many trees. That's like one down, 1,257 to go. Man, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
All I'm saying is I'm glad not every tree is being filmed for me to edit.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude. Let's have another question.
Yep. We'll go a live question here from April. Do you apply acrylic or oil gesso? Some people use house paint as gesso. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I used to use a house paint as gesso. You can do okay with house paint, but it depends what kind of paint, what they've put in there. Some of them, like it might lead to delamination with the oil itself, because some of them have like this protectant in there that makes the surface stain resistant. For instance, I would actually avoid house paint if at all possible. Don't worry about using. Yeah, don't use it. Spring for some gesso. Now, there are two different kinds that I'll use. I'll use acrylic gessos and primers, or get pre-primed acrylic for anything that's going to be on a support or a surface that is going to be flexible. So hence a big floppy canvas like you're seeing here. It's going to be rolled up, so I need it flexible throughout the process and, you know, for the duration as it's traveling, and then also because it's going to be on a big stretcher. Acrylic seems to handle the physical stresses more than the oil-based primers. They seem to be a little more brittle. I don't know if that's like just a law or anything, or it's just what I've found with the materials that I've been using. So on a fixed wooden frame on something that is not going to bend or move or flex, I prefer to use the oil-based because it just makes it a much nicer surface. So I'm using a very fine weave oil-primed linen for my smaller panels. But again, the size is what dictates that. So if it's really big or above, you know, if it's above 20 by 24, then it'll be stretched on acrylic based primers and grounds. And if it's smaller than that, it'll be on a fixed surface. So yeah, I would, but yeah, avoid the house paint. I don't recommend it. Briar is asleep. She is snoring her head off back there.
It's better than barking.
Yeah, I thought she was going to cut sick for this live stream. Eh?
She's good. She's good.
She's getting a bit argy-bargy before.
Yeah.
So we're starting to get some interest in that tree. I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down there, Liam. But,
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
You're seeing it? Are you digging it? Awesome.
I'm digging it.
Cool. Cool. So let's have another one.
Yep. We got one here from John.
What's up, John?
Using Liquid Original during a long painting session. When is it? When the painting starts to get that tacky, sticky feeling, can you continue to paint over it, or should you let it dry first?
Well, there's going to be a point of diminishing returns, but I don't see anything wrong with continuing to paint into it, so long as it's accepting another brush mark. It'll bind and it will dry together as one, and I think you'll get something that will work really well. So yeah, I mean, I layer within the same sitting. I did for that Alla Prima portrait. I don't see anything wrong with that. But generally, I'm painting at a speed where, as I'm kind of pushing the frontier of a fresh layer of paint and moving across the surface, by the time I get back to that area again, it's the next day anyway. I'm just not moving that fast because I can only paint so quick. So, and again, it does depend on how big the painting is, but on something this size, I'm not even worried about it. So by each one of these trees, all of this is just bone dry. I painted this last week and it is, yeah, not even sticky, not even a little bit. No, totally touch dry. So there's a wee tree there. Look at that, little tree. And it's got, I mean, there's my finger next to it. So you can see, like, you get a sense of scale, right? It's a tiny wee fella. Just hanging out, just being himself. Just watching the world go by. I need some more coffee, dude. That's what I need.
More coffee?
More coffee.
It's pretty cold now.
Iced coffee.
Yum.
So, dude.
Dude.
What's another question? Let's have it. I'm on a roll.
We
I've
got
dropped
one
the
here
brush. I need to go and get my brush.
from Bandit.
Bandit. Bandit. Oh, Bandit is not to be trusted. Don't ever let Bandit be a moderator of any Facebook page. Ryan.
He says, Bandit here. I want to play with some gold leaf on a painting. Do you still just use liquid as an adhesive for the leaf? Once the entire painting is complete, can I varnish over the gold leaf without any issue?
I would seal up. Before you varnish, I would seal the layer with maybe another bit of liquid, but I don't know. On a frame, it works really well as an adhesive. So I don't see any reason why you wouldn't get your gold leaf to bond to that liquid on the painting surface. So yeah, go for it. I think he's doing a painting for his partner. It's like a little, like off the TV series, the Supernatural logo. It's the A and the star.
I don't think I've seen that show.
Okay. I'm glad it's not a Baphomet symbol. At least it's not that.
Yeah.
But it's close. You're getting close there, Bandit. Watch it, buddy. But yeah, I think you should do just fine with the adhesion with Liquid. I think I'm done with that tree. I'm very happy with the way that tree is sitting. But I'm gonna just do a couple of bits of spin effects just underneath said tree, and then we're gonna move on with our lives.
All right. Well, Swathi just had a quick question here about one of your first seascape tutorial on YouTube, and she's asking why it's not available as a full length on your website. Is it available anywhere else?
It used to be available as a full length on the website. No, it's not available anymore, Swathi. If you want Painting Waves information and tutorials, check out the Painting Waves series. I take them off the market as new information becomes available. I still stand by my work, but there were a few products that were used in that I no longer use. Let's put it that way. I gotta be careful what I'm saying here, Liam, because I don't want to get myself into trouble. Let me leave it there. There's been some things in the past that have gone down with particular products and manufacturers that I no longer endorse. Let's put it that way. But in terms of a painting, I'm very happy with the way it's turned out. But as I begin to learn more about painting, and again, I'm learning too. I'm putting in the very best, most current information that I can in each of those tutorials and continually working on the methodologies so I create something that makes sense that people can follow. And I just continue to work on that. And so there naturally comes a time in my development as an artist where I move on from a particular product or approach and I update it. So I updated that one, and that is the Painting Waves. But I still keep the free version up on YouTube because it's just a short little thing, and people continue to watch it and enjoy that. So I really broke the process down in that tutorial, but I don't think also in terms of the editing, because we put that one together, and my first editor back in Australia put that together, and I don't think he'll hear this, but I wasn't that happy with the product. Let's put it that way. I think we've done a much better job with the latest ones. Zoe actually edited the last Waves tutorial. I think she did a phenomenal job. So, sorry Swathi, sorry to disappoint, but there's going to be heaps more awesome content coming out, so you're not going to miss out. Liam's onto it.
I am.
You are.
I try to be.
Oh, dude, you are. No, people, I mean, come on, give it up for Liam. People love that Alla Prima portrait tutorial that is on Patreon. The Patreon exclusive. Yeah,
I'm stoked to have the first video out. It's a good feeling.
That was good, man. That was good work.
Thank you.
Let's have another one.
Right, we got one here from Bass.
Okay, Bass.
Hello, Andrew. When I see your brush technique, it looks very natural. Is there something like basic brush techniques?
Like a tutorial on basic brush techniques?
I don't know. Is there something like basic brush techniques? That's what he said.
Did I not? I probably didn't highlight the whole question, dude. There might be. It might be on the Patreon page. Let me come back to Baz.
All right,
Baz, I might answer that.
Yeah.
In another live stream.
Let's get that for a sec.
I might have cut his question off. I'm sorry, but look, I'll riff on what I think he's.
Yeah, something about your brush techniques. I'm guessing. Is there any tips you can give him? Is what I can guess.
Yeah, man. I think in terms of brush work, like getting brush mileage is first and foremost. It doesn't sound nice because people just want like an answer. But if you're prepared to put in the work and just do as many paintings as possible and get as much brush mileage in as possible, I think you've got something. You're going to be a lot closer to it than anyone else. That's the only way to it, is just to do. I'm on these trees. I moved on. I'm running away. I'm over here. Bring me back here. Over here. I'm going to do these 5 trees. Alex Jones is going to be taking a nap under that tree right there. Yeah. Awesome. So layering helps. Kind of choosing the right brush for the right type of texture, that helps. you know, creating softness in the marks helps. But again, man, it's such a big question there, Baz, that I think I'm going to have to just take it painting by painting in those longer form tutorials. But here, what I like about these bristle brushes is the way they kind of splay apart as they get a bit older. I continually use these. I use them right from when I can get a crisp edge to when they start doing this. I mean, that's not much of a detailed brush, but it's creating some real softness here with some of the spin effects and foliage. I probably did a terrible job answering his question. I'm sorry.
Sure, he'll forgive you.
Oh, look. We'll just move on.
Move on. Move on to another question.
Nothing to see here. Move on. Yeah, let's go. Let's have it.
Got one here from Patricia W.
All right.
This may be a silly question, but I'm starting out painting again after 13-year break.
Wow.
So pretty much a beginner again. How do you stop your brain from going down the negative train when you're not happy with how your artwork is turning out?
I'm probably not one to be talking about this, but I'll give it to you from my perspective. Don't try and stop your brain going down the negative train. Let it go down that track. Don't worry about it. Just say, okay, I can hear, okay, brain, I can hear what you're saying. I hear you bitching in my ear saying, you know, this is not going to turn out, no one likes you, blah, blah, blah. You know, everyone's going to laugh at you as soon as you put your brushes down and whatever. We're always worried, and we lost palette cam. We're going to leave palette cam. Yeah. You know, it's something that I suffer with on multiple occasions on all kinds of paintings. Matter of fact, I got it now. But you don't resist it. I think that's the thing. I think what creates most of the anxiety for us artists is trying to push something away that just naturally wants to crop up in that space. If you just let it be there and go, okay, negativity, I see you. I see that thought. I see that feeling of inadequacy and that lack of self-worth, and just let it be in that space and just go, okay, I acknowledge you. I notice you. You can hang out if you want, but just sit there in the corner and shut up because I'm painting. You'll find after a while those negative thoughts don't really come back to bother you so much. You just have to pick up the brush and do it. You just got to go. And not many of us are prepared. And this is the thing with a lot of beginners, I find. And if you feel like you're beginning again, we don't want to go through that period where we suck. And there's always it doesn't matter where you're at in your career, you're going to, on occasion, create something that sucks. That's not the best that could be done. Whatever. Do it anyway. Roll with it. Learn from it.
Exactly. Every mistake's a learning curve kind of thing.
Every mistake you're going to learn from. And then, dude, I look forward to those mistakes now.
Yeah.
I look forward to them. Like, I look forward to those, you know, just in everyday life. That's how you learn. It almost seems like a cliche, but do you know what I think we've done in our culture and in our schooling system and just in general? We do it to each other.
Made it up. I think we should be successful straight away kind of thing.
Dude, we've created this situation where no one can be wrong.
Yeah.
You can't just, you can't just do something and screw it up. You know, you have to be perfect. You got to get it this way. And I think big part of what's done that is also social media. Everybody on Instagram, look, including me, we all want to put our best foot forward. And I'm not going to post that. That didn't come out very good.
Yeah.
And there's this pressure. And then you look at the quality of people's work out there. I mean, it's easy to get.
You've moved out of frame again.
As what?
You've moved out of frame
Oh,
again.
dude, I'm doing that. How about over here?
Yeah, we're good there.
Okay, I'm good there? Sorry. But there's this need to continually please and we're our own worst critics. I think just put that negativity, don't try and put it out of your mind. Just acknowledge it that it's there, but just put it in its place by just don't resist it, but just go, okay, I see you, you're there, no worries, and do it bloody well, do it anyway. What ends up happening is you build that muscle. And I say muscle because it's very much like training, like putting your body through its paces, physically speaking. I don't know. It's such a tough one. There's something about creative people and wearing our heart on our sleeve and just really struggling with the mental side of things. Liam, we're basket cases, bro. Stick. Well, are you? Are you as well?
Yeah.
Well, you are as well. Yeah. Okay. Dang. Dude, I thought you were cool. I thought you were cool as a cucumber. Yeah, I was relying on your stability, dude.
I mean, two negatives make a positive, right?
Hey, yeah, that's right. That's totally right. I never thought about it like that before.
Exactly.
Mathematically, that checks out.
See, yeah, it's the science.
Bam. What do you think, dude? Do you ever find that? Like, what do you reckon? I think that sometimes it's like, oh, I feel this way. I feel like heck. I don't want to do this thing. And then you start fighting the fact that you feel that way instead of just going, yeah, okay, yeah, it sucks, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like kind of resisting it.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Anyway, sounds deep. I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, just get on with it. Patricia asked that, didn't she?
Yeah, Patricia W.
Yeah, just get on with it. Feel those feelings and do it anyway. A big thing as well that stops us, in life and in business, as artists, is that fear of rejection. Go out there and get rejected. Just go and do it. Hear no as many times as you can, and then challenge yourself to hear no as often as possible, and then you'll start to realize that there's no pain in hearing that little word. You go, yeah, no. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go and do something else.
Try somewhere else, yeah.
Or I'll be back tomorrow to ask you again.
Yep, well, that's
and
how I got this job.
We'll see if you can, if I can ask no more times, or if I can ask, for permission to do this thing or to show in this gallery or whatever. And I'm going to wear you down. That's another strategy that can work sometimes as well.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I sent 5 or 6 unanswered emails before I got the interview for this job.
Yeah, there you go. Do you know what? No, in case in point, Liam, no, seriously, dude. Seriously, I said to Zoe when we were looking at expanding the team, now Zoe's moved on now, and now it's just me and you, which is kind of funny.
Yes.
But I said to Zoe, I don't want to actually have any more interviews. And she's like, why not? And I said, well, because this kid keeps emailing us and he won't let up. And I like that. I really like that. That's what I did when before I started showing in galleries. It's like, no, you're not good enough. You have to go somewhere else. Go and practice and then come back. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yes, well, I got taught at an internship I did with another company. They just said annoy people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can annoy someone into giving you a job sometimes.
Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. I still think you're going to regret that decision of deciding to work for me.
I don't think so. It's better than packing bread.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe. We'll see. I have my moments. Anyway, dude, I enjoy thinking about those things because I've had to do a lot of work on myself over the years. You know? Because you spend a lot of time up in your head when you're an artist and you're a creative. And you got to learn how to get along with yourself. Mm-hmm. And you got to learn how to get on with the project and keep that productivity going, keep that creativity high. And the only way to do it is to not let yourself get bogged down in that negativity. So Patricia, get on with it. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Take it from me. Let's have another question.
Got one here from Amanda.
Amanda, all right.
Hey Andrew, when using a 5000K bulb for the first time, does it take a while to get used to the lighting? I don't have much for natural light where I'm painting, but the coolness of the bulb is messing with my mind a little.
So messing with your mind because it's too cool? Hang on, ask that first part again. Let me just make sure.
When using a 5000K bulb for the first time, does it take a while to get used to the lighting?
Yeah. Okay. Well, people know I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, right? I think that there's something going on with pulse rates of light. I've been looking into this a little bit. Not gonna lie, I get a little bit twitchy now and again in the studio if I don't go outside and get some natural light. I try to take the dog for a walk in the middle of the day when the weather's nice. I've got these big old skylights here as well, so that having the natural light coming into the studio does help. So I'm supplementing with that spotlight array. But the color temperature doesn't seem to be throwing me off too much. It is a little bit cold, but you do get used to it. But the one thing that concerns me is pulse rate, because I think it flicks at 60 pulses a second. And I know it's pulsing at that rate because when I'm filming my tutorials, there's like a moire wave pattern that shows up in the footage if I don't have the shutter speed calibrated just right. If it's not, I can shoot at 30 frames a second or 50 frames a second, but at 40 frames a second, it starts like showing this weird like disco strobe light effect. It is really bizarre. So I think my brain is processing the 60 pulses a second, like it's going in somewhere there. And it might have some weird neurological effects like in a decade or so. But for now, I don't know. I get used to it, but I have to go outside and kind of look at some natural light. But I'm working some long hours, so I think my brain would do that anyway. I recommend that for the color temperature in terms of getting that color right, or getting it to a stage where you're mixing you're mixing warmer colors to compensate for the coolness in the studio. I heard Renato Mucillo, also he paints under, and mad respect for that guy. I love that guy. He's an awesome artist. Good dude, really good dude. So he paints under 4,000 Kelvin spotlight bulbs. And Renato, he does really beautifully detailed work. Go and follow him on Instagram. I spoke about him in the last live stream, I think, or the one before that. But he was talking about it being just too clinical, working under a 5,000 Kelvin. But I'm doing that on purpose. You've heard me talk about the philosophy as to why I'm doing that. It's not necessarily nice to work under, but that's not the point. The point is I'm compensating for that clinical cold look and mixing up warmer color to get even more richness out of the painting. And it totally works. It totally works. I got 4,000 Kelvin spotlight bulbs sitting in the gallery. So I'll just walk my painting into the gallery in the next room, and I can gauge, how it's going with the painting. And yeah, the colors are just leaping off the surface. So I'm really quite happy with the way it's going. So I stand by that. But in terms of pulse rate, if it's doing your head in, yeah, try something else. But I mean, compact fluoros are an issue too, right? Compact fluoros can cause a bit of a problem. So they pulse as well. Anyway, I'm going to be working on this little. Liam's changing out the battery, so he can't ask another question just yet. Yeah. I can talk to the camera. Cool. Awesome. Oh man, it's a lot of hours to sit in the chair. Oh, it's been a few hours today already. Few hours today. So, Liam, I got another conspiracy theory for you. Yeah. Yeah, no. This one, you'll love this one. I'll tell you when you get to the mic. Yeah, I got a brand new one. All right. Getting some different grays in here. Again, staying well away from the top of that tonal range. I haven't added any pure white just yet. It's just a light gray, a bit lighter than the color that was there. And trying to create as many different random squiggly shapes. These are, again, they're ghost gums or snappy gums. I've heard them called either one of those. But maybe some people watching this are familiar with the Pilbara landscape, but it's very typical of the northern reaches of Australia. Man, I want to go back there. So Liam.
Yes.
When you get home,
you
got to get on Google.
Project, do I?
Yeah, what?
Another research project.
Bro, Tartaria. Have you heard of Tartaria?
I have not.
Tartaria. It's apparently a seafaring global civilization that was just, wiped from the history records.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these people had free energy, apparently. And they were all the buildings were destroyed, or the ones that weren't destroyed, we now call neoclassical, and basically populate our cities all over the world. But they were built by a race of red-headed giants. Good times, good times. True story, bro. Anyway, next question.
God. Right.
Dude, I'm going to make you regret sending me so many emails and begging for this job. You're like, you know what? You're crazy. You can keep it. You can keep your job. That's it. Next question.
God. Right. I'll ask this question, then do you want to talk to the face cam for this?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
change the battery up.
Yep.
So we got one here from... What did I just ask? From Rowan.
Rowan. Oh, g'day.
Hey, Andrew. Have you yourself ever done a master copy of another artist's work for learning purposes?
Oh, yeah. So, Rowan, good question. Yeah. And I'm thinking more and more about this. So, we're on this one? Okay. Do you mind if I paint trees while we... Cool. Excellent. Cool. So this, it's really interesting because I'm quite interested at the moment. And sorry if I'm out of focus. I'll try and sort that out. There we go. Hey. We're currently with the two subjects that I'm working on for this portraits tutorial. Wayne, the bald dude with the beard, is actually my stand-in for a copy of a painting or a rendition of a painting that was done by Caravaggio, I think, but it's a painting of the Apostle Paul, and just sitting at a table with scrolls in front of him, and he's got like a feather, quill, and he's writing on these scrolls, and it's a really cool painting. And I'll talk about it, as it comes time to paint that replica. But it won't be for the portrait tutorial, but I'm using the study for the tutorial, if that makes sense. But Wayne, I'm going to be working with for years to come, and he's just got that face. I mean, you would have seen from the tutorial, if you've got access to that here on Patreon, you would have seen the just what an interesting subject he is. Anyway, we'll go back to this, Liam. You're back with me here? Cool, sweet. So that's something I'm really excited about. So it will be a bit of a master's copy, I suppose. You can learn so much by painting an old master's painting before, and I have been asked this. I haven't done an old master's painting before. I mean, I've done things that were a homage or kind of like a rendition in a way, like the painting of the girl with the roses, Stephanie. That was a homage to one of my favorite paintings by John William Waterhouse. And that was really good fun. I mean, she was great to work with. And so she was back in the studio doing a live sitting yesterday, actually, in point of fact. So she's also part of this portraits tutorial. But I was thinking, like, what painting from the past could she be used for? And I really feel like she's got this Waterhouse vibe going on. So I'm thinking about maybe even doing something. There's a painting, I think it's called Miranda, again by John William Waterhouse. Now, Miranda in the painting is a redhead, but Stephanie's blonde. But even so, she's standing on the shore. She's got this long green flowing dress that's blowing in the wind. And there's this amazing like ship in the distance that's kind of running onto rocky ground and is in the process of wrecking. It's a fantastic painting, such mood and atmosphere. And I thought, you know what? We'll just go down to the wild coast down in Dunedin, Tunnel Beach or something like that, and we'll recreate it, maybe on a stormy day or whatnot. Like, I just thought that'd be so cool. So I'm thinking more and more about it. So maybe not necessarily painting a copy directly of an old master's, but certainly following in the same vein and following in their footsteps. And in doing so, doing a bit of research like I did for that painting of Stephanie with the roses, doing a bit of research as to what the palette would have been back in the 19th century, some of the pigments I would have had access to, and basing my palette, even though there are a few synthetics in there, but basing the palette on what they would have used to get a similar type of look. At least thinking about it in those terms anyway. Good fun, really good exercise to do. And Rowan, I gotta say, mate, awesome paintings that you're loading up to Facebook. Bloody brilliant, mate. He's doing some great little paintings, Liam, like little tiny little, they look like 6x6.
Really?
Yeah, tiny little squares. He did one recently of an elk. There's another mountain scene in there as well. Like pretty cool stuff. So yeah,
Cool.
I'm digging it, Rowan. I'm
Loving the
digging it.
Facebook page. Loving it all.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. Good questions today. Do you know we've done an hour and a half already?
We have.
We have?
Just under an hour and a half.
Boom. What else we got? I feel like we got more questions in the bag still.
Yeah, I'll go a live question real quick. We got a pretty similar one from Sue Allen and V Haynes. So Sue Allen asked, how many hours have you put into Big Red?
Oh, too many, sir.
And V Haynes asked, how many hours a day do you typically work?
Oh, too many. Dude, at this stage, it is getting redonkulous. I have painted, well, no, look, hour and a half, that's a pretty good sitting. I've had my butt in this chair without really moving, so. I've actually, in point of fact, I do have to get up now and again and move. I do have a barbell just behind the desk, behind Liam. I've put a chin-up bar in the studio as well. Sometimes I have to get up and just like bust out some chin-ups and move my body. That helps put in the hours during the day. But in a typical day, I'll work anywhere between 10 to 12 hours. Some days it's less. I'm trying more and more as I get older to strike a balance. And again, the balance is different for everybody. But I am really wanting to spend more time at home with Rachel because, you know, I've been working so much over the years that we haven't actually, even though we work together and live together, but I've got a separate studio now, separate from the house. I don't get to see her as much as I would like. And we're doing a lot of work on the house too, eh? Like big greenhouses going in, lots of veggie gardens, going full on food production, as self-sufficient as we can get. And that's been loads of fun learning about that. So that's taken a bit more time. And then taking time out to get more exercise at the end of the day. So that's probably about, I could get an easy 8-hour day, but on a good day, it's probably around 10, sometimes 12. I'll probably come back tonight though. Tuesday night is normally my night to spend at the studio. I'll do another couple of nights, but it will vary. But normally on a Tuesday night, I'm down here painting. So, yeah. But how many hours on this painting? Dang, man, too many. Too many. Too many. A lot. At least 5. At least. At least. I think
5 on live stream.
5 on the live, more than 5. I think on the live stream.
Is it the third live stream we've done for it?
Is it the third? I feel like we've done 4 now. This would be the 4th. I wanted to give people a break because they're like, oh, not this thing again. People watching. I'm cautious of the thing of people watching being sick of it. Yeah. And like, okay, well, imagine how I feel. All right, all right, all right. You're sick of it. I'm sick of it. Anyway, good times, man. Yeah. Let's have another question.
All right, we've got one here from Patricia H. Is it okay to start a painting with Winsor Newton, alkyd oils, and add in Blue Ridge with it and not have any problems? Or should I keep the alkyd oils by themselves? Liquid is my medium.
So Winsor Newton alkyd.
Alkyd oils.
I don't have any experience using Winsor Newton alkyd, but that's really interesting. I would think, this is really bad, but I don't even think I've heard of Winsor Newton alkyd. I know they've got like a Winton range. Is it the Winton range or the student quality range? I would tend to keep the family of oil paint, you know, and mediums together. Generally don't mix your mediums. You can mix different brands of paint, but it gets a little weird as if particular brands have mixed in, you know, dryers and mediums and extenders and whatnot. The only thing in Blue Ridge is stabilizer. They use aluminum, Eric Silver uses aluminum stearate in his paint as a stabilizer. So I know that there are artists out there like Virgil Elliott, for instance, who I have the utmost respect for, really shuns the use of stabilizer. I get it, but I personally have not had any issue with it. I enjoy the fact that the paint has stabilizer in it because it's just more user-friendly. I don't enjoy or like the separation in the tube, even though some paints, it's all, you know, some paints you're just not gonna avoid the separation in there. Some of those transparent, like transparent red iron oxide, for instance, tends to separate. Sometimes Kremnitz white can separate. And so you get these pools of oil that kind of pour out of the tube. I would keep it all the one family, Patricia. I would, if you're using alkyd oils, keep using those alkyd oils. Unless you get to the end of the process, you want to do a bit of glazing or something like that, make sure it's completely dry, at least very much hard and touch dry before going on with, anything else. So hopefully that helps. But I think if you're following a few of those basic guidelines, it should keep you out of trouble. Should. And I say that because, there's, as much as I'm trying to hone in on a methodology here that will protect us and make sure that we get predictable results every time we paint. There's nothing worse than nasty surprises. It's hard enough creating a picture, then having to deal with all the technical stuff on top of it. So what I'm trying to do, as an instructor here, is just get all of that technical stuff out the way. Let's come up with a system you can rely on and really count on, and then that way you can start exploring what you can do in terms of your ability to put together a picture. How can we get that out of the way? Does that make sense? Liam, am I making sense to you at least?
I'm sorry, but a lot of this is gibberish to me because I don't know anything about painting.
Okay, cool. That's all right.
But I'm sure it made sense.
Come on, keep up. Keep up. All right. What's next, bro?
We've got one here from Chris. Can you please cover color temperature in the CMYK palette? Mine is even more limited with just bright yellow lake, alizarin, and ultramarine blue plus white.
So he's got bright yellow lake. I've never even heard of that color, dude. Bright yellow, that's interesting. Alizarin, and what was the other one?
Ultramarine blue and white.
And white. Wow. Well, that's so far away from CMYK, being cyan, magenta, yellow, and K for black. Again, don't use black. I'm using ultramarine blue and burnt umber. But I think that I need to talk more about color temperature and maybe do something specifically about color mixing. But I tend to keep on the palette variations of reds, variations of yellows and blues and greens as well. And just as long as I have those major color notes based on that CMYK system, then I've got, I'm really happy with the way those trees are starting to look. They're kind of crispy, eh? Do you want to zoom out and let me, I'm going to work on just random trees in this plateau as we go back. And yeah, they're kind of shaping up. But I like how each one of them is kind of different to the next, but they all follow a bit of a pattern. We're going to paint on these. Yeah, I'm still thinking of where I'm going to park my flying saucer. Still. I'm convinced now that flying saucers, they're not extraterrestrial, they're actual time travel devices. It's us coming back, dude. That's what it is. Yeah. People can't hear that, but Liam just went. Well, you don't know.
I don't know. That's
you
correct.
Don't know.
That's correct. I don't know, but neither do you.
Well, at least I've got an idea about it, right?
That's true.
Come on, man. Give me a break. Hey? It's fun.
Yeah, it's something to talk about.
Yeah, but on that, look, okay, by now people know that I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist, but, okay, oh no, I'm not going to say this, don't worry, I'm not. It's about the moon landing. It's about the dude that filmed the lander taking off and then it pans up.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that one. That's something I can get behind.
Who filmed that?
That's something
Who
I can
filmed
get
that?
behind.
There's a dude still up there on the surface of the moon going, come back, guys. Come get me in the camera. They're like, oh, no, we filmed it remote from Houston. Yeah, but you panned to chase the land, and there was like a 6-minute delay, or however many minutes. I don't see it. That's all I'm saying. It's interesting. How'd they do that? I don't know. Anyway, what were we talking about?
The
Chris,
CMYK.
CMYK. Chris wanted to know about CMYK and color temperature, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I think that if you've got a couple of variations, so for instance, I'll use that cadmium yellow or cadmium lemon, which is a cool yellow. It's almost greeny. And I'll then also use like a transparent yellow oxide, which is a deep, rich yellow, which is very much warm. So I've got those two to balance out. I've got my cadmium red light, which is a very bright, hot red. But then I've got that quinacridone magenta, which is very much cool on the violet side of things. So I'm balancing out constantly between those. And there's sometimes time for something cool. There's sometimes time for something a bit warmer. It gets a bit blurry, and I'm still unsure, if the ultramarine blue is warm or if it's cool. I've heard arguments either way. Oh, no, it's definitely warm. Oh, no, it's definitely cool. I think because it's slightly towards the violet side of things, it's kind of cooler. I don't know. Can people let us know in the live chat what they think about ultramarine blue? But I've also got that cobalt teal there, which is also kind of cool and kind of greeny. But I don't know. I just know they're awesome. But the cobalt blue, not the cobalt teal, the cobalt blue, I feel is most definitely warm. And I will sometimes use that, but it's not always on the palette, the cobalt blue. Mainly it's the ultramarine. Anyway, interesting one. I don't know, but I think having a variety. Good luck using that, Chris, for a limited palette. But if you're going to use a limited palette, go cadmium, lemon, quinacridone magenta, and cobalt teal with a white, maybe a black. And try and make a painting of those. Let us know how you go. I might even try that for a little color demo. But yeah, interesting. How are we doing on the list of questions that were submitted?
We have 3 left.
3? Oh, good. Let's make it. Let's ask all those questions. Let's get them done.
All right. One here from Mary. What's your best advice for painters who get into a funk? Just can't get motivated and are afraid of how bad it will come out.
I think we talked about that earlier. Was that Belinda's question? No, sorry, I'm losing track of names now. But
Patricia asked that earlier.
Earlier, okay, cool.
But yeah, is there, I know just put brush to canvas, but do you have like an author trick to help if you've got anything different from that question?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you get in a funk, and there's a lot of people out there that find that they get what's called painter's block. I mean, it's like you hear of writers going through writer's block. I get writer's block. Sometimes I can't think of what to write if I've got to write something, a treatment, a script, some copy for the website or whatever. But to get past my writer's block, I just start pretending that I'm talking to somebody. Like, dude, I'll pretend I'm talking to you, right? And I'll just type it out. I'll just be like, bleh, and just, because normally I just say exactly what's in my brain anyway, which is not the best idea. But then you go back and you edit it and you fix it up. Well, I think painting's the same way. Just put it out there on the canvas, and then you can go back and fix it up. Don't worry about it. Look, you're gonna screw it up. Mary, it's gonna be terrible. Cool, all right, let's deal with that. All right, great, now get on with it. And eventually it won't be. And I don't mean that your painting's literally gonna be terrible off the bat. Don't take it like that. That's not what I mean, but you know what I mean. I feel that fear constantly, but I just do it anyway. And after a while, you recognize that fear and the voice doesn't become so loud. You're just like, yeah, oh, this is probably gonna suck. Cool, let's do it, awesome. It's like you never learn how to skateboard if you're worried about falling over. The amount of skateboarders out there that do those tricks on the half pipes and the rails and the whatnot, dude, they bust themselves up so much. If you were worried about falling over, you would never get a Tony Hawk, ever.
Yeah.
You just do it. Do it. You're gonna fall down, you're gonna screw up, you're gonna, skin your knees, you're gonna create a bad painting. You're gonna write something that is unintelligible. Just do it. And don't worry about it. It's all good. I think at the end of the day, if you're worried about what anybody thinks, I think you automatically give people permission to do what they want to do if you start doing what you want to do, regardless of how it turns out. You unlock in other people their hidden dreams and desires to live their creativity by you just expressing yours, regardless of how it comes out. So just get out there, start slinging some paint. And I'll do the best I can trying to teach some techniques, but don't worry about it coming out or turning out. Just do it and then do another one. Now, when I first started out, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I haven't probably mentioned this in the live stream, but I might have mentioned this in the podcast somewhere, sometime. But it's an exercise, and it bears repeating. And this is what my father did with me. And no, I never finished the exercise because I lost the sheet. But I got this young fella, his name's Cody Oldham, to do this. Cody's an absolute legend. He lives in Colorado. I think he's about 16 now. But he got in touch with me when he was 11. So this is going back a ways. And I'd been coaching him along just privately, one-on-one over Skype over, the last few years. I haven't spoken to him in months and months and months. And I should get back in touch with him soon and see how he's going. But I told Cody about this exercise too. So go ahead and do this exercise and see if it makes a difference to how you feel creatively. Take a piece of paper out, draw 100 squares like a big checkerboard, 100 squares on a piece of paper. Number them 1 to 100. Every time you do a painting, you get to draw a line through a square, just like it was a calendar on the wall, right? When you get to 100 paintings, let's talk. In the meantime, don't stop until you cover every single square and you draw a line through every single square. What does that mean? It means you've got to do 100 paintings. You're going to start to realize that that is building up brush miles, and that is building in you the resilience to withstand all of that negative crap that you tell yourself. You'll get past it, but the only way to do it is to do it. Anyway, enough said. Next question.
I've still got people asking if I'm going to show my face.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Liam, don't do it. Trust me.
Don't do it.
You'll
all right.
regret it.
I'll stay hidden. I'll stay hidden for another live stream.
I think we should make it a thing, dude. Like, no one will know what you're doing.
I'm just the mysterious voice behind the computer.
Voice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it will be revealed that you were never here. You were just AI running in the background. I downloaded this program.
It's just one of your many personalities after the conspiracy theories have got to your head.
Dude,
that's what I am. That's what I am.
Well, we're all in a simulation anyway. But it'd be hilarious because this particular AI has got like a New Zealand accent. Yeah, that's the latest thing. Oh, funny.
Right, okay, let's move on with a question anyway from Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Would you please mention how to get the best photos for painting and how you best save or store them? It seems that you save them all to your iPad. This is probably a no-brainer for most people, so I confess that I am a senior and just getting back into art.
Oh, no worries, Kathy. No, all good. Look, I don't actually store them on the iPad. iPads have next to no space at all. And I've got in my file, you're not going to believe me, Kathy, but seriously, I'm sure I have over 1 million images. I've been photographing landscapes for more than 20 years now, well before I was even, professional. And I've had, to store a lot of those, and I've run out of space on hard drives. There may be some duplicates in there, but when I'd go away on a trip, it'd be nothing for me to shoot 10,000 photographs in a trip, even more. There's probably about 20, 30,000 from my USA trip in 2009 alone. And then you just start adding all the trips that I've taken one after another. I've got so much dang reference material, I will never see the end of what I'm already working with. And I'm continually adding to it, like all the time. I was like, oh, that storm looks really cool. Oh, we'll shoot that. Oh, that hill looks really cool. Oh, I love that light. Oh, look at the leaves falling off that poplar tree. Oh, I'll shoot that. And it won't just be one photograph. It'll be like a dozen photographs of like light shining through leaves. Random stuff, really random stuff. So you got to store that someplace. I store it on hard drives, and then I make another backup or duplicate of those hard drives, and I store them in different places. It's probably not a good idea to get too attached to things, but I don't know what I would do if I lost my photographs or my photographic reference. Just because I find it so handy. I'd probably just move on from the idea and go, oh, well, I guess I'm not meant to paint from that Venice file. in order, but you might be wondering, okay, so where do you find the photographs in the first place? I shoot my own reference, but now, thanks to Surveys-a-Bug, I am not, and travel is going to be much more difficult. I'm changing my tune totally on that. I am going to paint Amazonian subjects and African subjects and whatever dang subject, Martian subjects, whatever subject I want, having never traveled to these places. So I'm going to start supplementing what references I do have that I've shot with stock images where I can either have permission to use them because they're free stock images, or I'm just going to buy them online from stock image photo sites. So there are various ways of going about it, but generally I keep the images off the computer and I store them on external hard drives. There you go, Kathy. That's a quick answer. Let's have another one, Liam.
All right, cool. This is the last pre-asked question.
Oh, dude, we made it.
We stormed through them. From Linda. When traveling, do you take the brushes that you use in your studio? How do you pack them? I have a canvas roll, but I have to be careful that the bristles don't get bent.
Okay, here. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna totally. Oh no! Can I do it?
Ooh.
I'm gonna. Oh. Okay, here. I go in these. I can't work under these conditions. Yikes. Okay. This here is the beautiful Blackfoot light made by Alaprima Pashad. This is what I carry my stuff in when I'm shooting. You got me, Liam? Cool. So under this panel, it's a bit tricky to pull out, but take my word. Oh, no, I can get that out of there because sometimes it sticks. Cool. In there is a little shelf thingy. So you can carry your paints and brushes in that box, and that holds your panels. So when I'm traveling, I'll actually throw that in a suitcase or just in the back of the car. And then for this, I'm actually using my en plein air brush set. I'm using all the stuff that I promote. And sometimes, I know it might seem a bit salesy, I get it, but I'm using what I'm telling you guys about. So I've got a set that's available through Rosemary & Co., which is just the en plein air set, which is a series of these short-handled brushes. I mean, there's a 200, but there's flats and filberts and bristles and synthetics and the daggers as well come in a short-handle version as well. So I just bundle them together, put a rubber band around them. Now, something that you might want to do, like these little detail ones do come with like plastic caps, like the cap on a pen that will protect the ends of those. But if you lose the caps, which I always do, I put the brushes together like that, so you've got your handles sticking out either side, and then just put a rubber band around them, and then that way it can't slam into either side of the box, and you really do a good job protecting your brushes that way. But yeah, I travel with the en plein air set, the short-handled stuff. So, and I put them in my Pashad box. So these are fantastic. If you can get your hands on one of these, they're so worth the investment. Very expensive, but really worth it. And I'm spewing because my buddy Sam got one for free, and I didn't get where's my box. I talk about these things all the time. Where's my box? But no, I got this from Ben Haggett from Alaprima Pashad. He's not a sponsor. I'm not an ambassador or anything like that. I just love this product. But if you go and buy one and then tell Ben where you got it or where you found out about it, maybe Ben will send me the Yellowstone box. Maybe he'll send me some stuff. I don't know. I'm just kidding around. But
give me
anyway,
free stuff, please.
Anyway, and then you can like cut out that clip and say, Andrew, I heard, Ben, I heard Andrew bitching on his live stream that he hasn't got enough free stuff. So send him something. I am a horrible person, aren't I? That's terrible.
Well, everyone wants free stuff. That doesn't make you horrible.
No, really? I'm pretty blessed to be working with Rosemary & Co. and Blue Ridge. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm having fun painting trees.
All right, we've got 11 minutes left. There's a couple of you want to leave some questions in just for the last 10 minutes.
Cool, last 10.
A little bit of time.
2 hours already, bro.
Yeah, it's going by quick again.
Wow. I promise no one will be able to, you won't have to suffer through this painting in another live stream. I'm determined. I'm going to finish it, and if I'm not, I'm just going to have something fresh to work on next week. But I don't know. Unless I want to do a tutorial on how to paint Alex Jones stumbling out of his flying saucer somewhere here in the background. It's going to happen. Did we get any more suggestions about what could be hidden in the landscape?
Pretty much just the kangaroos and the monoliths and whatever they are,
Cool.
and all that stuff. But we just got a question in here from Rowan asking if you ever did a podcast with Sam EARP.
Sam Earp.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I haven't. I've invited Sam on the podcast, and I do want to talk to him, and we keep dropping the ball. And I talk to Sam like every week, like probably every 3 days or so. We FaceTime while we're in the studio. Sam's one of my best buddies. Like, he's such a dude. Love that guy. Love him like a brother. He's just such a good guy. But yeah, I wanted to ask Sam about digital platforms and cryptocurrency, because and what diversification, in digital spaces can do for artists. He's the digital guy. He's onto it, man. And if you're into crypto, like Bitcoin right now is at an all-time high. Dude, I don't know if it's cracked 20 grand yet, but it's like up around 19 or somewhere around there. Last time I checked, it was like $19,500 US for a Bitcoin. It's taken off. So I want to talk about that with Sam and what that possibly means for artists and, moving into the new digital economy for artists. There's some really interesting opportunities that are opening up in that space. So I'm still pretty cautious about it, because I'm cautious about lots of things I don't understand. So I want to hear what Sam has to say. But yeah, I'd love to get him on the podcast. Good suggestion, Rowan. Thanks for the hurry up. The podcast will be back. I've taken a break because I've been busy with Patreon, which is not an excuse. I mean, I'm loving hanging out with you guys, but I can only do so much. And to be honest, the podcast is so niche. Not many people are picking it up. So I've just needed to take a break, regroup, and it will come back very, very soon. But I've got a couple of interviews that I've already recorded that will be coming out next. One with my buddy Jess Anderson from the United States. He's a fantastic artist. Dude, this guy did teaching, like art lessons, what I'm trying to say, from maximum security prisons in the United States. He only ever denied one person from his class. I'm not going to give it away. No, I'm going to give it away on the live stream. You'll never guess who he said, no, you will never be in my class. Charlie Manson. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. But he was in maximum giving art lessons.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, full on. Yeah. So I wanted to ask him all about that, but he's.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Charles Manson.
He has lived a life, this guy, and man, he's been through so much in his life. But a beautiful guy, just such a good soul. But yeah, that was a fun story. I kind of totally gave it away, but I will release that podcast before too long. Anyway.
Belinda just reminded me that I accidentally skipped over one of her questions that was submitted earlier.
How dare you?
Well, she already asked a question, so I was getting through the other people, and then I forgot to go back.
Go on.
So we're going back now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Would you address the best way to show a reflection in water? I viewed Mark Lammer's pond painting on Facebook, and I was blown away with the ability to accomplish this.
Mark, if you're listening or watching this, bro, fantastic painting. I love it. Look up Peter Mork Monstead, which I'm sure you're already aware of that name, based on your painting, which is really reminiscent of that beautiful, masterful handling of foliage and light and the water in that. Just stunning, Mark. Beautiful painting. Yeah, well done, Belinda. Yeah, good one. Thanks for talking about that. The reflections and paintings in water, that's the kind of thing that's probably better to show you rather than just talk about it. But Belinda, we will cover that at some point. But yes, I agree. Mark has done a fantastic job. And if people want to jump over on that private Facebook page, the Tish Zone, and if you're not already a member of that page, go ahead and put in a request. Click that you agree to the group rules, and then let me know your name so I can verify you on Patreon, so I can match you up to the Facebook page, and so I know who you are. Remember, we're doing it all individually. If you don't give me your name, I have to decline you. I can't just let everybody in that. It's such a tight-knit group of people that it's just for my patrons on Patreon. There's about half the amount of people on the Facebook page that are actually on the talk, Andrew. I can't even talk, Liam. Can't even talk, bro. Oh, dude. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you said.
Yeah, about half the amount of people are on Facebook are on the Patreon page. Or no, the other way around. You know what I'm trying. My brain is just checked out.
You got half the amount on the Facebook page as you do on the Patreon page.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
All right.
My words came out none gooder.
Is it time to wrap it up? It's an hour 55.
Hour 55. I can do one more
Brain's
question.
scrambling.
One more question.
All right.
This will be good.
One
Blood
more
sugar
question
draining.
from Amanda. When working the block in and modeling layers, how thick is too thick for the paint?
5.
Again, what's with 5 today?
It's how thick is too thick. Blend it as long as you observe the right. Blenda, was it? Blenda asked that?
Amanda.
Amanda, as long as you observe your ratios with how much medium you're mixing into your paint, as thick as you want. There will be some shifting in that if you decide to go really thick, like I'm talking like 2 centimeter thick impasto. You better use something stable, like liquid impasto medium and some good quality oil paint. But let's just say you're going relatively thick, like say 1 millimeter with some nice chunky brushwork in there. As long as you've got like a 20 to 25% medium ratio, no more than that, you should be fine. Just put as much texture in there as you like. I like to keep the block in as thin as possible and really smooth it down, because then you've got your options open for adding the next layer. And then you can start to use the texture to your advantage to tease out the image and build in that 3-dimensionality. Boom, we made it. Liam, we made it. Another live stream.
Another weekly live stream done and dusted.
Done and dusted. Liam, thanks, man.
That's been good.
It's been fun. I'm going to add a couple more dark things here just to the base of the tree. So these trees, like occasionally they get struck by lightning or a fire rolls through, and there are these little black branches and burned out charred areas, and then you get the stark contrast with that brilliant white bark as well. It's very, very typical of the snappy gum here in Pilbara. I feel like I've been yelling this whole live stream. Maybe I should like put on a quieter, quieter tone of voice, and maybe I won't be
just
so
nice,
like
soothing bit of painting.
Yeah, just a couple of happy little branches there. We're gonna take our number 2, number 00 pointed round, synthetic, of course. And we're gonna add in there some fine little strokes of color. Get some variety. Really creates definition up here in the tree and making it an individual, unique, just like you. Perfect little snowflake. It still shocks me why people follow me online. Like, why would you do that? Why?
Yeah.
Like, maybe this was a bad idea, starting the live stream where people are like, oh, we're getting to.
Hey, this is what he's really like.
We're loving this. I'm really getting to know your personality. I'm like, great. I give you 3 more live streams before you block me online. Like, no. Actually, you're right. You know what, dude? You're touched in the head. I'm out of here. I'm done. And by the way, space is real. Anyway. It might be real.
I mean, we've still got just under 50 people here. They're enjoying it.
They'll learn. They will learn. They're going to leave me too, just like everyone else. They all leave.
They do.
Oh, gee. I've had fun. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm going to put it up there. Liam, do I have any announcements to make?
Well,
Well, yeah, I
you
think
pretty
I
much
do.
covered them at the start, didn't you?
Huh?
The portraits.
I'll mention it again in case people got here late.
Yeah.
And there we go. So, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm going to scooch over a little bit. I'm sitting up a bit higher this week. There we go. Thanks for being here. Absolute pleasure to have your company. Thank you for allowing for the the silliness which normally happens here in the studio. But hey, we got to get through it one way or another. Now look, if you're not already on Facebook, make sure that you find that Facebook page. I've mentioned it through here, so you already know about that, but I will send out a message at some point in the next few days, if not today. If I remember to do it today, I will do it today. But I'm going to send a link out. If you're not already on that page, get over on that page, join the conversation. Great bunch of people there. A huge thank you to my moderators, Teresa and Bandit, aka Ryan Jordan. He's now known as Bandit.
Yes.
He got himself a Gurun Brothers cap with the raccoon on it.
Oh, really?
And it just says Bandit. It's the coolest thing ever. So yeah, jump over there on the Facebook page and put your work on that page. And there's already like an explosion of creativity there, I can see, and just amazing work. And the people coming together to support and the collaboration and the constructive criticism and the critiquing, I can see this as a real opportunity to grow artistically, and I'm really excited about that. So thank you for being part of that, and thanks for really bringing it, artistically speaking. I just love it. So again, I'll send out a link. If you don't know about it or you're just finding out about that now, I'm going to send out a message on Patreon, and I'll give you the link to that. And again, just make sure that I have your name on Patreon, so when I try and link that up on Facebook, we can make it happen. Now, tutorials that are coming out. The next tutorial that we got coming out for Patreon, as a Patreon exclusive for you people in the Cobalt class, which is the $10 tier on Patreon, the next one is going to be Big Red, isn't it? It's going to be this one.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. So this tutorial is actually going to be a 2-hour film all about, kind of where this painting started. There's going to be some instructional stuff, but what I really want to drill into in that tutorial is how do you think about a big project and not lose it? I mean, obviously, I'm losing it on a big painting like this.
Very obviously.
Yeah. But how do you keep it together and see the vision through to the end? It all comes down to planning, and that's something that I really want to talk to you about. So I'm going to show you some really cool B-roll from the actual landscape when I went there, some awesome drone shots as well that inspired this scene. And we're just going to run through from when it started to where you see it, with that final little crispy details that get added in there. So that's coming for next month's. No, it's going to be this month.
This month's, yeah.
It's got to be December's. Yeah. Okay, cool. So so that would be the very next tutorial that's coming out. Not too sure when, but there's also a critique video coming, and I'm filming that this week. So hopefully we can get the critique video. Dude, that's the simplest editing job you've ever done. It's going to be the simplest one. I think I'm going to do it in one take, sitting at the computer, just filming me as we go. So I'm going to be drawing in Photoshop, doing a movie grab and a screen capture at the same time.
Cool.
And I'm going to be talking about, I've got 4 paintings to critique there.
Okay.
I got Sue, Patricia, Gaz, and one more. So you folks know who you are, because I got permission first, right? Cool. Yeah, great, awesome. Fun hanging out with you again this week. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. And we will see you next time in the studio. But until then, happy painting. And look, about the mindset stuff that we're talking about, again, don't pay any attention to it. Don't pay any attention to the negative thoughts that creep in. Feel those feelings and do it anyway. Life's too short. Pick up a brush, and if you're holding a brush, it's going to be a good day. Promise. All right, get out of here. We'll see you next week.